Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Today we're in my car. My family is still sleeping, so I didn't want to wake anybody up, but I'd already went through the house, kind of looked at all the things that I had in my pantry, my freezer, my fridge. We're going on vacation in about a week and a half, so my grocery haul this week is going to be slim to none because I want to use up a bunch of stuff that we have in the house before we go on vacation. I do have my planner with me, and I'll kind of go over what the meal plan is for the week. I have a ton of basil from my green stock, so I think I want to do like an orzo pasta salad, like a caprese salad for my lunch this week. So I want to get a bunch of that basil used up so it doesn't go bad. And then we're also going to do like a barbecue chicken, maybe on the grill if this rain doesn't continue here in Kentucky, and some fried potatoes. And then we have 1 packet of our marinated meat left, the molasses pork. So I want to do that this week, and I think I want to do some mac and cheese and maybe some homemade rolls, just so I'm not buying extra stuff. And then we always have the stuff to make tacos. So I've got tortillas, ground beef. I just have to get a few of like the fixins to bring those together. What else? I think that's probably going to be the 3 main meals this week. I'll get a few snacks for my son for the week, and then maybe make some muffins or something for breakfast this week. So we're going to go get a load of tea, and then we'll go to the grocery store, and I'll be back with my haul. Tea in hand. we're back and we're going to go over our grocery haul. All right, first up, and this you kind of saw me in the store get, but I got some feta cheese. This is for our orzo pasta salad that I'm going to make with our leftover basil. I got some mozzarella cheese for some macaroni this week, a gallon of milk, some sour cream, and then I wanted to try for myself a couple of these Chobani yogurt drinks just for breakfast this week. And then I got some powdered donuts. My son's already ready to eat those. Also got him some cinnamon applesauce for this week. And then I really like just kind of sneaky snacks stuff at work whenever for lunch. So I got some, and I'm not going to say that. I call it pickled cauliflower, but it's, yeah. Anyway, and I got some pickles, some taco sauce and taco seasoning for tacos this week. But as I was in the store, I've been seeing videos of people doing like potato nachos, and I've been wanting to try those. So I may, instead of doing tacos, do the potato nachos and do all this on there. There's my orzo pasta. Then, of course, as you've seen many times, Takis, and this was an impulse buy. It's a new Doritos. It's the hot honey pizza, so I thought we would try that. Oh, in my Chipotle's and adobo sauce, I want to do some marinated chicken with that. Now, and I know I said earlier I was going to make some homemade rolls, but looking at my schedule this week, it's going to be super busy. So I went ahead and just bought some pre-made rolls for dinner this week. Lunches for my son. He requested some Lunchables, so I got him a few Lunchables this week. And some bananas for breakfast this week. And Chiquita bananas are superior. Some petite tomatoes. This is for my salad, and then for if we do the nachos or whatever else we have this week. Lettuce, some strawberries, and then I saw these on the way out. And my daughter loves the Rainier cherries, so I got some of those. Cucumbers for our pasta salad, and then probably I'll take them just for snacking at work. And then I know I said I didn't need tortillas, but these are buy one get one free, and I can freeze them. So that is what we have. So these are all the ingredients for the week ahead. Like I said, a lot of the things I'm trying to use up in the house before we go on vacation. So we'll actually have 2 full weeks where we are using up things in the house. And my last stop before I came home is we have a little bakery here in town. It's called Cupcake Apothecary. And on Saturdays, they have homemade cinnamon rolls. And they are one of the best cinnamon rolls I've ever had. And that's what we're going to have for breakfast this morning. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. And the next time I see you, we'll be in the kitchen and we'll be making dinner. Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen. So tonight is taco night. Now it's not Tuesday, but we're gonna love them all the same. So this is, I feel like we've kind of done tacos before. We did walking tacos, so process is the same exact. But we're gonna get started and we're gonna get dinner served up. Before I get started, I have to show you all my beautiful flowers that my sister brought me. These are from her garden. She is starting a flower garden on her farm, Perry Holler Farm, and they're amazing. I have my skillet heating up. I'm going to get our hamburger on. A little bit of oil. Just going to chop it up just a little bit, then we're going to let it sit. And then we'll get all of our fixings started. All right, first up, I'm going to get my lettuce chopped up and in my salad spinner and sitting in some water to get it a good rinse. And though I just need very little of this lettuce, I'm going to go ahead and chop it all the way up. And that way, I'll have it in the fridge if we want to do a small salad or something later on in the week. I can see some brown bits on my hamburger. And you all know how I like to wash my lettuce with lemon. So I'm going to squeeze this in. I'm going to get cold water over it, and I'm just going to let it sit and soak while we get everything else ready. All right, next up, I'm going to use this container. I'm going to do half onions, half tomatoes. And I have these vine ripened tomatoes that need to be used up. So I'm going to use, I think, I'm going to wash them all up, and then we'll see how many we want to chop up. Because they are about on their last leg, so I want to get them used up. But let me tell you, the other day for breakfast, I was just really wanting some tomatoes. So I fried some scrambled eggs, I scrambled some eggs. And then I cut up a tomato in slices, put a little bit of salt and pepper and balsamic vinegar on it, and then topped them with some scrambled eggs and cheese. Oh, it was so good. I think I'm only going to cut up 2 of these. So I don't want anything to go to waste. Right, let me get my board cleaned up and then we'll move on to the onion. Look how good our ground beef looks. I'm going to do something I don't normally do just because I like the paper towel trick. But this brand, this local beef that I got has a lot of fat in it. So I'm actually going to strain this out into a separate container, and then we'll add all of our seasoning in. All right, and I'm using a El Paso taco seasoning mix. I do usually always try to do the less sodium, just because I'm really not supposed to have a whole lot of salt, so I want to try and reduce the sodium as much as possible. So 3/4 of a cup of water. Then we're going to get our meat. Add that back into our pan. And then add in, normally I don't put the water in like that. I like to just kind of toast this seasonings, but I'm all out of order tonight. And we're going to make our sour cream sauce. And I have another packet of the taco seasoning. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to add just a little extra taco seasoning into the meat, because I won't need the full package for the sour cream, because I got a small bottle of the Ortega taco sauce this time, just because I don't want it to go to waste. And y'all know we're trying to get everything used up before we go to vacation. And I just want to make sure that we don't have a lot of waste. I'm going to turn this down. Very low. And then let me open this up. So I did about half the packet in my bowl for the sour cream sauce, and then just dump the rest in here. I'm actually going to turn the heat off of this for right now just because it's extremely hot and I don't want anything to burn. And then we'll finish up all the fixings in the sauce. Now, when we went grocery shopping, I didn't get any sour cream. I knew I wanted to make this sauce because I'm always going to make this with tacos, but I have a half a container of sour cream left in the fridge, and I'm going to use this up. And that's why I just got the smaller container of taco sauce, just to use up what we already have in the house. We're just going to try. There we go. That was more work than it was worth. Goodness. But I really hope you all try this because it is so good on a taco. And I like to make mine just with the lettuce and all of the vegetables, and then put some meat and cheese on it and cover it in this sauce. Oh, it's so good. I probably eat more of this sauce than I really should admit. We are almost ready. So I'm going to set this aside. And now we're going to chop up our onion. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't like raw onion in their tacos, but I love it. Especially a good Vidalia onion that this is. Oh, it's going to be so good. But every time I cut up a Vidalia onion, I think of Courtney Cook and her onion cuts. And I like onions, but I don't know if I could eat them like that. And she eats those soup dumplings and then puts them in the onion cuts. But something I do want to try that she does, it's like pasta with beans and mayonnaise. What else does she put? And cheese. And then she puts that in an onion cup. I mean, I'm pretty much a don't knock it till you try it kind of gal. So if I can find me some Heinz beans, we're going to give that a try. I am going to go ahead and chop up this entire onion, even though I know we probably won't use it tonight. But I have some recipes coming up this week that if I have any left over, I can consume those in. Got our lettuce all washed up. We just need to do the spin. I love my OXO salad spinner. And I'm just going to leave the lettuce in my spinner. So my family's eating on the fine china. And like I said, where I eat mine as a salad, I'm going to eat it in a bowl. So I'm going to get theirs plated up first. All right, my daughter is only going to want meat and cheese. My husband will take all the fixings, and my son's not home tonight. So he is spending some time with his grandmother. And it's one less mouth this week. Which when you're trying to clean out your pantry and everything for vacation, doesn't work well if you don't have that extra mouth. All right, there's one down. And my husband is going to do them a little different, probably. I'm gonna. I don't really make his like that, but I think I'm gonna try that tonight. I don't think everything's gonna fit in it the way I want it to. No, it is not. Okay. So we're gonna have soft tacos, like a crunchy taco, and I just keep dropping lettuce everywhere. Rufus, are you gonna eat the lettuce? And actually, before I even go any further, because otherwise I'm just gonna make a huge mess. All right, guys, dinner is served. Mine doesn't look appetizing, but it's delicious. So next time we're in the kitchen, we'll be making some more meals to clean out our pantry and fridge and everything for vacation. I'll see y'all next time that we're in the kitchen. Hey, y'all, welcome back to my kitchen. So tonight is night 2 of kind of making meal out of things that we have in the kitchen because we want to get the food out of here for vacation. So first up, I've got this big old pot of water. We're going to boil it up. We're going to have macaroni and cheese, fried potatoes, and then I've thawed out my last marinated meat that I had in my freezer, and I'm gonna have my husband put on the grill, so you won't get to see that cooking, but you'll get to see the finished product. So we're gonna get started. So again, I've got water in my big pot. I'm gonna get it on the stove, and I'm gonna put a ton of salt in it because, like the sea, we want to season our water. And I have the rolls that we bought when we were at the store, and I've got my oven preheating to 350, and then we're gonna get started on our potatoes. And these are the leftover potatoes that we had from our cookout. So I'm just going to use up as many of those as I can. Probably won't use up the whole container, so that's quite a few. And I'm going to get my skillet and some butter. And these were washed the other day, so I'm not going to worry about washing them. And usually whenever I do fried potatoes, I just do like little slices. But we went to my husband's grandmother's house, and she did little squares, little chunks. And my son loved them. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do little chunks. And it's a little less intimidating than trying to just cut really small slivers of potatoes. So now you can just do little chunks. Whoops. And I'm wondering if I need to, I'm going to get a bowl of water. These are pretty starchy. Because when you're frying potatoes, you want to get a lot of that starch out so it'll actually fry and not just kind of mush up. And then we'll have to dry them really, really well before we throw them in. These potatoes got bad spots. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. It's been crazy around here. Not only are we getting ready for vacation and everything, where I work, we have our annual plant shutdown for a week. So it has been absolutely chaotic getting everything ready. for the plant to be shut down for a week. So just fun times everywhere. But with all of that craziness, I am so ready for vacation. Ready to be away from work. I'm ready to spend some time with my family. This is the first vacation we've actually went on where it's all of my family. So it's my little family. So me and my husband, my daughter, her boyfriend, and our son. But then it's my sister and her family, my brother and his family, and my mom and dad. So there's a total of, I think, 17 of us staying in this house. And I'm so excited. I'm ready. Ready for the bonding time, the laughs. It's going to be fun. I think this is going to probably be the last potato that I'm going to chop up. Because this is going to be pushing the limits of my pan. All right. So I'm just going to let these soak for just a second, and then I'm going to rinse them, and then we're going to put them on. I'm going to get a clean dishcloth, and then I'm going to lay them on there, and then we'll start heating up our pan. All right, potatoes are rinsed, and now we're just going to lay them out to dry. I'm just going to get them on a single layer here, and then we're just going to pick out any potatoes that have a bad spot on them, because we do not want those. And then our oven's preheated, so I'm going to dry these up just a little bit. We're going to get some butter and oil into our pan, get it heating up, and then we're going to put our rolls in the oven. You want a decent amount of oil. I'm just using my avocado oil. Then I'm probably going to do about 3 tablespoons of butter, and there's a fly in here. Ugh. All right, then our rolls. I'm just going to put these straight onto my baking pan because I'm not going to put butter or anything on them until we get them out. And these are just going to bake for 6 to 8 minutes. I'm probably going to do about 8. All right, so rolls are in the oven. This is heating up. No, it's not. You got to turn your stove on. And then we've got our water on to boil. Turn that on high. So now we're going to get all of this stuff ready for our roux for our cheese. So for my mac and cheese, since I've been trying to get away from Velveeta, though I love it, I've been doing kind of a roux mixture, like I think it's Teeny's mac and cheese that everybody does around Thanksgiving. So I'm kind of I've got a bunch of leftover cheeses because again we want to use everything up, and we're going to do a roux, a bunch of cheeses, and then some like salt, pepper, paprika. It's going to be really good, I think, but we'll see. So I'm going to just prep my flour for my roux, and I'm going to do 4 tablespoons because you want to do equal parts flour and fat. And I think I might have to do just a little bit more butter, but there's almost 4 tablespoons there. So if I do 4 tablespoons of flour, I'm going to do 4 tablespoons of a fat, and then it's 1 tablespoon of flour and fat to a cup of liquid. So then we'll do 4 cups of, I'm going to do a mixture between whole milk and cream. And in my flour mixture, I'm going to go ahead and add pepper, salt, probably a little more than I think you need, onion powder, and garlic powder, which I feel like I'm almost out of, not good. And then sweet paprika. Then I'm going to do just a touch of whole nutmeg. This does not come through really, really strong. It just adds a depth of flavor for any white sauce or cheese sauce. There we go. It's really just a touch. Okay. So this is right now. Our oil and butter is getting hot. So I'm just going to take my potatoes and we're going to throw them in. I'm going to give them a stir to get them all coated in the oil and butter, and then we're going to season them. I think I cut just the right amount for my pan, so that's good. I was afraid it was going to overflow. All right, so we've got the potatoes covered. Now we're going to season with salt and pepper. Again, potatoes need more salt than you could ever imagine. And normally for fried potatoes, I just do salt and pepper, but I think I want to add just a little bit of garlic and a little bit of onion to them as well. Then we're going to mix, and then we're going to leave them alone. We're going to let them get really good and crispy on one side. And this is the hard part, is being patient, just letting them be. I struggle every time I'm making a video, just letting stuff cook. But we're going to leave these potatoes alone so they get good and crispy. And then every so often, we're going to do a little mix and a flip. All right, so back to our cheese. Trying to decide how much cream to milk I want to use. I don't want it to be super, super thick. Let's see, I need to use up the cream. So I think I'm just going to do 2 cups cream, 2 cups milk. And my husband can use the cream for his coffee before we go. There we go. And this is how you really make cooking efficient. While something's cooking, always prepping for the next item that you're going to make. So really helps. I'm going to cut my little butter up into pats. And then we're going to do our cheese sauce in the same pot that we boil our pasta in. And it looks like our water is boiling. So I'm going to do a whole pound of these elbows. Because it's not macaroni and cheese if it ain't elbow. Let's see, I'm already wanting to stir these potatoes to see if they're starting to get crispy. Oh, yep, they're kind of sticking. We're going to give them a little stir. There's our timer for our rolls. Stop. Bentley, would you like to take the rolls out of the oven? Pretty please. Thank you. Always nice to have a helper in the kitchen. All right. Now I'm going to just sit right there. Thank you. And then we have some of that Texas Roadhouse cinnamon butter in the fridge outside. I think they're going to be good with those. Then we're going to leave them taters alone. I'm not going to stir them no more. All right. Our spaghetti is ready to be drained. And then we're going to make our cheese sauce. All right. I'm going to turn my burner down to just like medium heat. We're going to add our butter and let it melt. And I do think I'm going to get one more little chunk of butter. They are going to laugh at my cheese selection. I bet it's going to be scrumptious. All right, so I'm just mixing in my flour and all my spices into my butter. And then we're going to let this cook down for just a minute. Normally, I'm not stretching all the way across my stove. Normally, that's my burner of choice, but we got to improvise with the potatoes. We're just going to make sure that flour cooks. I am turning it down just a little bit. It smells good. And then we're going to slowly add our milk and cream mixture. We don't want any lumps. Ooh, or I'm going to spill it all over the place. So we're going to let this come up to a boil, and then we're going to start adding our cheeses. So let's see here. Let's give our potatoes a mix. I actually have left them alone. Oh, there we go. We're getting a bunch of crispy bits. All right. So while that comes up to a boil, I'm going to go through our cheese. So I have just a little bit of mozzarella left. I have some cheddar cheese, some Parmesan, and then, like I said, I'm going to do these sliced cheeses first. And then I'll continue to add cheese until I feel like it's cheesy enough. But I am going to kind of chop this up in chunks just so it's not me putting a massive chunk of cheese in there, because it will take a little bit longer for it to melt down. We really want it to just come up to a simmer and start getting thick, and then we'll add the cheese in. In the meantime, I'm going to clean up my kitchen just a little bit. There we go. These are going to be so good. I'm going to turn the heat up on the back burner just a little bit. I'm used to working on this burner, and she stays hot. Like hot, hot. I think our potatoes are almost done. All right, our sauce is starting to get thick. So I'm going to start adding cheese. All right, so we have all of our American sliced cheese in. And I'm going to, while that's melting, I'm going to add just the rest of this bag of mozzarella cheese. And I'm going to see how that does. Look at that cheese pull. Velveeta don't do that. So it's still pretty thin with the cheese we've added, but I want to taste it first. It's good, but it needs more cheese. So I'm going to add just a touch of Parmesan for some salt. And then I'm going to add a handful of my cheddar, maybe 2. And then we'll taste it again once this melts down. And I think our potatoes are done. Yep, I almost burnt them. So I'm going to take those off the heat. So one item done. I almost burnt them, but I didn't. But I did get some crispiness on the bottom of my pan. You know, with that, I'm moving this closer. Again, the cheese pull, I can't get over it. Try it again. And that's good. Okay. I think we're good on the cheese. Now I'm going to grab our pasta and we're going to add it to our pot. And it's stuck together, so I'm going to get my spoon and break it apart. Just because I don't want it to be a big clump and throw my cheese everywhere. And yes, this is a lot of macaroni and cheese, but my kids are both home this week. My husband can take it for lunch, and it's going to be delicious. I do think I'm going to add just a touch more pepper to it. That looks so good. And I am trying a new angle, so kind of more, you see more of me, more of the kitchen, as opposed to the real up close of what I'm doing. So tell me what you think. See if you like that better, if you like a good mix between the two. Get this mixed up and then we're definitely trying it. And I think I might call down a child and see what they think. See if they need anything else. Oh, that's good. I should not get this excited over macaroni and cheese, but y'all know your girl loves some cheese. They say in the best mac and cheese you ever ate. Anything needs to be added? All right. Now we just got to get our pork chops out of the grill, which my husband's going to do, and we'll plate this up and we'll show you the finished product. All right. And pork chops are off the grill. And I've already kind of started making a plate, so I'm just going to load this up. And for the rolls, if you've never had it, the Texas Roadhouse honey cinnamon butter, delicious. Now this is what really makes the potatoes good. Ketchup. How much pork chop do I want? All right, guys, and there's dinner tonight.